Hello and welcome to my Ever Messy Art Studio. My name is Keeks, and today we're going to be taking a look at another Little Amy Arts Pocket Palette Challenge. So I've already done the first few, and now I am on number 3 in this book. I will show you what the first two were. So the first two was this first color card here, and then the second one was this color card here. I gotta be careful because some of it's sticking here because it was a little wet, I think. I did this. So that's why it's good to have these sheets between here, because this would have transferred over there. But yeah, so this is what this one looks like. So today what I wanted to do is, instead of doing a pattern, I actually just wanted to do the picture that's on the actual card. So what I did is I took my fabric pens, and these are Madame Sew's fabric pens, and these are the ones that whenever you heat gun them, they actually disappear. So I did a really rough drawing in the red, and then I did more outlining in blue, and I also added a couple of different areas. So let's see, I'll see where I added a couple things. I think I added them over on this side. I added some extra leaves because there was only one leaf here originally in the picture. And I also added an extra lime that was sliced open because I didn't think it looked balanced enough. So we will see how that turns out. And I'm gonna watercolor these today with my Paul Rueben. I went ahead and swatched the colors I think I'm gonna use. So I've got my Paul Ruben's 24 set. I've got lemon yellow, yellow ochre, cadmium light red, tree green, emerald deep green, and Hooker's brilliant green. So those are the ones I think I'm going to use. There's one thing that I do want to do before I start this painting, and that is I kind of want to take a green Neocolor and do a circle around it for like a border. I really enjoy it when other artists do that. Like Katie Moody, for example, does that with like all of her paintings. She'll have like a border of that. So I want to try it and see how it looks. So 1 second, I'm gonna grab a Neocolor here. And here are my set of 12, is it 12 or 10? I'll know when I get the silly thing open. 10. So I have my set of 10. I'm just going to take my green. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a nice thick border. It's because, like I said, I really enjoy it when other artists kind of do this with the Neocolors, because it's really cool because when the paint goes to touch it, it of course, you know, dullens it. So I think that would just be really fun. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. And water is for sure gonna hit against it, but it should do some pretty cool stuff for us. And if it doesn't, and if it was a big mistake, we'll learn together, so it'll be fine. Because I want to make sure that I don't make this journal too precious. I want to be able to experiment with the ideas that I have. So we're going to start out with the lemon yellow first. And where I see yellow the most at in the pictures is definitely around, like kind of the edges. And then I also, let's see, I also kind of see it in the limes, like where the lime is shining. So I might add a little bit of yellow there. But we're not going to use yellow. We're going to kind of dull it down a bit. Now, interestingly, along the border, I also see a thicker yellow and then the orange. So first we're going to create a wash. So I do over to the side have this so that I can play with my paints on it. And I am going to use an Isoka number 7. So it's just a brand from Amazon. And I'm very sorry if I accidentally slap my camera with my paintbrush. That's silly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix my paint real quick. I'm gonna try to create a really light wash. I'm gonna test it on the lime. So I'm just gonna So to me, that's a little bright. We still need more water, I think. But no worries, I can just simply dab it, and that's the color we want right there, actually. So I wonder if I actually go around with these and then if I just dab it off, if that'll be okay. We're gonna try that. So I'm just gonna go around to all of these oranges. And I'm gonna paint. And then once I get the color where I want it, I'm gonna dab it. Yeah, that's what we want. Oops, we got some green in there from the Neo color. It's okay. It's not gonna do anything. Okay. And I'm just gonna dab it again. Looks pretty good. And then dab it. That needs more for sure. That's enough there. Let it sit for a second and then dab it. Add just a little bit more. Okay, something like that. Now that it's getting a little bit more water into the mix, it's already going to the color that I want, so I can dab less now. Here's another little area here. Right, now I need more yellow. And this will require dabbing because I'm remixing it again. Because now it's going to be too bright again. Yeah, we'll just dab it a bit like that. Dab this one. Like that. When I dab it, I like that it's uneven, because it does kind of create an uneven suckening, I guess we can call it, and that's okay. Okay. So now that we're letting that dry, what we could do is we could go ahead and start adding our emerald green. It's emerald deep green in this set, and that is going to be the background. All right, so let's go ahead and get that color here, and I have a different water pot for like all my greens and blues. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. And going to get that in there. What I might do is let's do a wet on wet for this. Whoops, goodness, I keep knocking the camera. It's so difficult because this stand feels so big because of the light. All right, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do wet on wet here. And to do that, you just wet your paintbrush, and then the area that you're wanting the color to be. Ooh, see, it's starting to do what I want it to do. Okay, and then we're just gonna pop it in there and let it just fill the areas that we watered. It should give us some pretty variations like that. So that looks really nice. So I'm going to do it again. I may have to move my camera up. Give me one moment. All right, so I'm going to try this and see if maybe that prevents me from keep knocking into it. So I'm going to lay my water down first. Just get it nice and wet. And then we're just going to pop the color in. Nice and pigmenty. And anywhere that's not going, I can just lightly brush over it. That way it gets like a really cool look. Because I feel like that's kind of what we got going on in here, is you don't see it like just be all the same color. It's kind of marbled in a weird way. So we're gonna try doing it that way to trick our pen into thinking that's what we want. So let's see here. Oops, got a little bit that wants to go in that yellow, which I don't want. All right, so then let's wet our brush again. Just like that, and then we're just gonna plop it in there. Just pop it in. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna try to get in between that dip a little bit. Gotta be kind of careful because I don't know if that'll go through to the other pages. Okay, I've got this area right here. little bit of a runaway here. Just gonna grab that so it doesn't run away too far. Oops. Water dropped down. All right. Here we go, like that. It'd be fun to put like a little bit darker in there, so I don't mind that. Kind of gives it an interesting look. Pop it in. Yeah, that's starting to look really cool. I gotta be careful though, I'm not being careful enough near these edges and I'm accidentally getting it on my orange, but hopefully it will be okay. Okay, well that takes care of that color. And then the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna get, I think the next thing we're gonna do is paint the insides. And what I wanna do is I wanna do it with the yellow ochre first and then go back over it with the orange, because in here I feel like I'm seeing different tones of that orange in there. So I want to be able to keep that kind of organic-y. I wish I would have put, maybe I can put just a tinge of yellow in the middle of these, because it didn't really do that. I think that'll, because oranges always have that weird pulpy thing in the middle, so I'd like it to look right there. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I think I'm going to do that ochre like I said I was going to. So let's go ahead and grab that. And I'm just going to put it on my palette here. And I guess I'm just gonna plop it on there and just kind of see what happens. We're gonna go over it with the orange. We're gonna see what happens when we use these two colors in conjunction. And this might be too dark, I don't know. I'm feeling it's a little dark. Darker than I expected, but that's okay. I'm just gonna go with it and hope for the best. This is going to be kind of like the dull bit, and then we'll add the orange to it. I think I'd like this to still be wet when we put the orange down. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Just have it like that, and then let's see what happens. Let's do an experiment and try to add the orange into it. Like just make it really random and see. We can even kind of spider it a bit. Let it kind of feather around. So that's giving us an interesting color. I still think it was a bit dark at first, but I'm not hating it. I'm just kind of scooping the color around. Okay, so I think on this side we need a little bit more water, but otherwise, that has given us an interesting orange, and we can go back over it with Posca later and see if we can dull it down a bit. But we do also want a very bright orange around the ends. So let's do that too and see what happens here. Wow, that was a lot more paint than I expected. Just like that. We're going to do the same thing on this side over here. There we go, just like that. I think that's going to be pretty interesting. And then once that ring dries, we'll be able to put the very, very yellow one around it, and then we'll have our test subject to see. So I guess while that one's drying, we can go ahead and move on over here. Go ahead and get our yellow ochre. And plop it down, because we already decided we're going dark with the oranges. Can't really go back now, so let's do this thing. Okay, so we've got our yellow ochre. Now we just need to add our orange in here, and I'm just going to start by letting some of it travel where it wants to, and we'll fan it like this. Interesting blend going. Okay, so that looks good. And then we want the really bright orange all the way around. So we're going to do that next. so now we've got that one. Could probably do this one next. Remember, these lines won't be here, so those lines that are actually showing us where the lines in the orange are, we're gonna need to figure out a way to do that. So what we'll probably do is do another layer of orange and do like a really dark line, and then on top of it do Posca. I think that'll have a very fun effect. So then the orange. Oh, it's already dried up a bit, so we're just gonna have to do it ourselves. Then we need it to be very bright orange around the edges here. Okay. Get in there. Ochre again. All right. Now we've got just these two oranges left. So we've got that, and then we just want to add our orange on top of that. Just get it kind of mixed in, a little random if we can. That's a tad better. Okay. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the middle of this one because I'm not sure that I can do the... Or I guess I could just go ahead and do the edge and not do the middle of that one. I don't know. Let's go ahead and... the ochre's already wet. Let's just do it. And then we'll just do their outlines last. Something like that. We'll add our orange. There we go, like that. I don't know, that line's really close there. Big part of me says do just this part and then let the rest dry. So I'm gonna trust my gut and I'm just gonna do this outline here on the outside orange. And then this orange, I might be able to get, we're gonna try. Okay, it didn't spill into itself, so it's a good thing. So I was a little worried about it. Okay. So now we've got the peels on our oranges. And this is where we just need it to dry. Because what I want to do is, number one, I don't want to overdo it with the paper because it is watercolor paper, but I don't want to oversaturate it and ruin what we've got going. So I'm gonna let it dry for a minute, and then I'm gonna make dark lines first with the orange. I'll do light lines. I wonder. Part of of me is a little curious here about what would happen if, you know, I'm gonna hold that thought. I was gonna say what would happen if I used more paint to create more of a variance here, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm gonna wait. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and let this dry. And we're gonna wait, and I'm gonna come back and think about it with a fresh mind. But I do think I'm gonna do the Posca pens next, which I'm gonna figure out where I set them at again. All right, so this is now dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some Poscas to it. And what we're gonna do is go whoop, whoop. And just kind of add our lines in here. Because those pen marks won't be there. So they won't be able to assist us. And then we're just gonna scrape in some details here. And see what it looks like. I think that's looking pretty good. I think that looks like an orange to me. So we're gonna do that to all of them. So first, we will add our lines here. And what we might even do is we might even go like this. Just to put a little something, something in there to connect them. Like that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get these drawn in. And then scrape in some details again. So we want some juicy oranges that we're gonna want to eat later, right? So we don't want no dried up oranges, because ew, that would be gross. There we go, just like that. And we'll do it again over here. And this is also a good test because later on we'll be doing the same thing with the limes. So we want to make sure that's going to look good. And I think it will. I haven't seen anything that's making me worried yet anyway. And I like scribbly, so I don't mind that we're using a lot more white than what's in the picture. In the picture, there's these like little veiny veins that kind of like, you know, go a little crazy, and that probably would look more realistic. But I like my style, it makes me happy. So I'm just gonna do streaky streaks. Just like that. It doesn't even really have to line up with those pin marks because those pin marks won't even be there. So it's okay. It's okay to have a bit of fun with it. Maybe put some lines where you normally wouldn't. Okay, there we go. And then it looks like something happened over here because some of the markings have already disappeared, which is weird. So luckily we're almost done with like the outlines of everything. It's very strange that the outline disappeared. So I'll just draw that puppy right back where it goes. So something like that. And then if we need to, we can add colored pencils to it later to put in some details or some more shading or what have you. Not really concerned about it because I think we're doing a pretty good job. But we'll know for sure whenever we get rid of the heat gun thing. So that's looking good. Now we need to move on to our limes because our limes have not been painted yet. So with those we have two different greens. We have Hooker's Green Brilliant and we have True Green. So let's use the True Green first. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something similar probably to what we did earlier. Make like a wash. And we'll also have a little bit of a wash of that lemon yellow, I think. Because we'll want it around the edges too. So for the lemon yellow, we're gonna want that around this. And we're gonna wanna dab it. Dab, 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 dab. Go around. now we've got our actual green itself here. And we're just going to put it in here as lightly as we can. Something like that. Just want it to be really light. And then the other thing we're going to want to do with this green is we're going to want to use it on these leaves probably, to add a lightness to the leaves before we darken them. So we'll just go ahead and pop that in there too. I just realized I think I'm using the wrong shade of green. I think it's supposed to be this one. Tree green, yep. So I'm gonna pop it in here and I'm gonna dab it so that it's not too dark. I was using the wrong shade, and the shade that I need is actually quite a bit darker, it looks like. So we're just gonna dab it, make it lighter. Like that. And on the leaves, we won't dab it because we want it to be darker. And just let it be nice and green. Tree green, to be exact. The colors on this are really starting to pop. Like, to me, it's really coming together. Really like this color palette. And I've always liked this image on here. And she does use copyright-free images for her palettes, which is really cool. Little Ammy Arts. She actually just came out with a video this past Sunday about plein air painting. It didn't go well for her. This time around, per her words, I thought it went pretty well for her. I love her paintings though, so I'm biased. But she's been trying to experiment with plein air painting, and I really want to try that too, except I've been thinking about like kind of practicing before I do it. So I really would like to go out and go into the courtyard of our neighborhood and just start painting, but I'm scared. So what I'll probably do instead is try on my porch first and do like a plein air porch session and see how that goes. And then Katie Moody, who's another artist I like to follow, she is doing something even more different. She is doing a journey in a book called, oh, well, it's about art, and it's about like inviting it in your life and going on dates with your art, that kind of stuff. It's a very popular book, and it just left my mind, of course, because I'm recording probably. But she has been doing that where you have to like even do like 3 journal pages a day in the morning, and you know, talk to yourself, explain to yourself why you're having, you know, any type of artist blocks, that kind of stuff. It's like living with art or something like that. And you have like dates, you go on little dates with yourself, which is really cool. Little art dates. So I thought maybe one of my little art dates, unless there's like a rule against it, could be with my porch. Just because it is very beautiful and we have a really nice view. So I thought maybe that would be a really cool way to, you know, experiment, have a little bit of fun with it. There's one green that I still haven't used yet, and I will, but I want to do this first. Then I'll do one. There we go. So is anybody else painting along with me? I know that I had this pre-drawn beforehand, but what are you working on? I know I like to paint and, you know, work on collage or do different art projects when I'm watching people. Do you like to do that? If so, what have you been up to? I'd love to know in the comments below. Okay, so we've got that in there. Now we need that hooker's green. Every time I say that, I feel funny. So I'm just like, oh no, I'm saying a bad word. But I'm not. It is truly called hooker's green. That nipple of the lime slightly darker there. Oops. Wrong one. It's okay. Wow, that's gonna be a dark ass lime, I guess. I'm not sure I was aiming for that, but alright. Maybe we can dab some of that off a bit, because I like how the other one looks, but not really how this one looks. It's oversaturated. Whoa, that created kind of a cool effect. But we still don't want it to look like that. So, let's add a bit more water and see what we get here. That's better. And I think what we'll do is we'll go back over that with some colored pencil. Okay, so now we've got that in there, and then let's get some more of that really deep hooker's green again, because I want to do something like that, because those pen marks are not going to be there. So I don't have any actual marks on my leaves yet. So we can go like that. Just play a little bit. Then the other thing that we got to think about is where that nipple is on the lime. It's not going to show up without us. So we're gonna need to put it there ourselves, like that. Okay, we're just gonna maybe add some little speckles. Sometimes limes have like little variations, so that could be kind of fun. And then we'll come back with some colored pencils and some Posca and do some more to it probably. The Posca we can go ahead and do probably. I think this is dry now. So we'll go boop. And just kind of do the same thing. Don't think some of this is dry enough yet. You see, look, it's fading in there, but I'm gonna do it to all of them real quick, just so I can test it. But I'm thinking that these are not dry enough yet because they're absorbing that acrylic. So what we'll do is we'll let it dry and then we'll come back. Okay, so I have decided that I want to see where this is in lieu of dryness. So I'm going to get my heat gun out, and this is actually going to make all the lines disappear. So we're going to see, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to redo these white lines, but let's take a look. So okay, so as you can see, like magic, everything has disappeared. All those lines have. So what I'm seeing here is that we definitely need some thicker lines going on. So I'm gonna try to go over this again, but not the streaky parts, just like this main part. Maybe we could try a different Posca pen and see if we can get one that's whiter. Got two others here. Let's try, nope, not that one. Maybe we could see about this one. Yes, that is what I want right there. Because this Posca pen is giving us the highlight we want. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna highlight all of these where we've already gone over it. I am someone that struggles whenever it's time to stop overworking things, so maybe this is overworking, maybe it's not, but I definitely like the way that looks better. So either way, I'm pleased about it, and I'm gonna stick to it. Because I just think it's giving a really nice highlight there. And with these, we're gonna add a little bit more streaky streaks in our lines just because that part did not show up very good. I would like these to look like nice juicy lines. Okay, and then what we could do is we could pretend that there's something over here that's maybe making everybody shine, whether it's a camera light or what have you. Just kind of smear it a little bit. Give us a bit of smear here. And don't really care for what's happened to these leaves. So I'm gonna put some white in them. I don't think it needs the border quite as much. We can rub it a little bit and it'll block it in a little bit better. I don't know, those don't look like real leaves for sure, but they're looking a little bit better. I need to work on realism. It's funny, a lot of the artists that I say they get stuck in the realism trap. I'm like, please take me with you. My stuff always looks like a cartoon. I'm like, if you don't want that gift, give it to me, please. Of course, maybe my gift is not being realistic. Just like that. I like that smudged look on there. Something like that. Give them some smudges. Go just like that. And then what I'm gonna do, it's kind of disappearing a little bit. There we go. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use the heat gun and take this off, because what I want to do is I've been swatching the colors that I use. So I'm gonna do that. I don't think I'm gonna add any colored pencil to this. I kind of like how it is. But let's see what it looks like without this on. So, I'm going to rip this side off. Oh. Just like that. Looks like somehow we got paint all the way under there. Goodness. Don't know how we did that. Okay. There. not quite done yet. Like I said, I do want to do a small swatch under it. So what I mean by that is on these other ones I did for Amy's, I put like little swatch marks on it. So that's what I want to do here as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and wet my brush again. And I'm going to put my swatches over here this time. So we've got our lemon yellow. I'm going to do my tree green. Hooker's green. We need deep emerald. We need our ochre yellow. And then lastly, we need our orange. There, just like that. All right, now we're cooking. So now we have another finished page, and it's a double spread, yay! And this was number 3 once again in Little Amy Arts Pocket Palettes. So if you stuck with me this long, thank you so much. If you're already a subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you. And if you're someone who's not subscribed, thanks for visiting, and I'd love it if you wanted to. Please, if you would like to, give me a like. I do appreciate that. It does help the algorithm maybe have other people notice me as well. So I do appreciate everybody coming here today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!